Good evening, everybody. My name is Randy Daigle. I am fortunate enough to be the chairman of the JFK Middle School Building Committee. I'd like to thank everybody for coming this evening to the grand opening. As some of you might know, the original school was constructed in 1969 with no major renovations or updates until 1999 when the Media Center was constructed. So this project started in May 17, 2020, and the total projected construction cost was $72.5 million with a reimbursement rate of 71%, with a substantial completion date of August of 22, which we met. So on behalf of the building committee, JCJ Architects, Construction Solution Group, Gilbane Building Company, we are all proud to say that this project came in under budget. So as with any successful project, you have to surround yourself with successful people. And I was fortunate enough to do just that. I'd like to acknowledge and personally thank each of the JFK Building Committee members. I would like to, if you would please stand when I call your name. The Vice Chairman, Greg Stritch, unfortunately he can't be in here. He's in Florida golfing, so don't feel bad for him. Secretary Scott Copen. Christine DeBone. Amy Dennis. Caitlin Dunn. Todd Keenan, Andrew LaPlante, Kevin Margoloff, Michael Manafort, and Jeffrey Oaken. I would also like to acknowledge somebody who was very special to me. She'd been with me for almost 10 years from the high school project all the way through this project. She's our recording secretary, Ellen Smith. I would also like to acknowledge the family members of a former committee member from the original 1969 building committee. His name was Mr. Edward Delinsky. His wife is here, and so is Mrs. and Mr. Castle. Can you please stand? They're in the back. They also have saved and donated one of the original shovels from 1967 groundbreaking ceremony that they're donating to the school to display in their cabinets. One of the comments I would like to make regarding, it lasted 67 years and I destroyed it. Okay. One comment I would like to make regarding the JFK Building Committee members is from the very start, the very first day we got together, it was decided that in no way was this going to be any way driven politically. Every decision that was made on the benefit and safety of all the children, the teachers, educators, kitchen staff, and custodians' best interest. And I can honestly say they did all that. So thank you very much. I would also like to acknowledge the Town Council and Board of Ed liaisons. Some of them have been through from the very beginning. Some of them through terms have changed. The one who's been here the longest, and I can't say enough. I mean, she's been through it all. She takes both sides. She's been through every meeting, her kids' games, She goes on Zoom in when she's available. She calls in. So Gina Sakala, I'd like to acknowledge you. Lori Unger. Former liaisons, Bob Crisati, and Joe Miller, who's I don't believe is here this evening. From the Board of Ed, I'd like to acknowledge Jonathan LeBlanc, Scott Ryder, who's up here this evening, former liaisons, Walter Curzel, Timothy Neville, and Stacy Thurston. So some of the renovations that you're going to be seeing this evening when you take your tour will be, we now have a 100% fully air-conditioned school. We have 36 general education classrooms, 12 science classrooms, we have 10 special education classrooms, and that's growing. We are still adding some due to the funds that we have in place. We're able to continue to add some additional rooms and support to the school. A brand new gym and cardio area, separate public entrance isolated from the gym and the auditorium from the balance of the school. As you all know, before you would walk into the school and based on the hub, you were able to go into every single wing. And for security, it was very hard to lock down the school. Now, if you're coming for an event, you go in and out of these doors and isolate the rest of the building. We have new health, innovative art, and world language classrooms. We redesigned the hub, like I said, to house the innovation lab containing the robotics, design and modeling, material testing, process labs, storage, and science and technology labs. We have a brand new media center, renovated media center, nurses suite with care rooms, administration suite with principal and staff guidance and conference rooms. And the new main entrance, as you all know, is at the administration wing. It's no longer through the media center. There are a couple more people I'd like to acknowledge that had a crucial part of this, and then we're going to get onto the speaking roles of these individuals. The town manager, and I hope I don't mess up the name, Ellen Zupa Sasu. Sorry. Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Christopher Dryzek. The Deputy Superintendent, Andrew Longi. And I'm going to can anybody from the town council just please stand for acknowledgement? I didn't know who's here and I don't want to read everybody's name. So if anybody from the town council, please stand. Anybody from the Board of Ed, please stand. The JFK Middle School, Dr. Andrew Barris. Part of the design and construction team, we have from Construction Solution Groups, we have Jim Giuliani, Christopher Cycli, and Samantha D'Agostino. Can you please stand? Oh, there's Jim, all right. One of the things I just want to make a comment, Samantha, as everybody part of this project knows, they call her Sam, has been an outstanding and a crucial part of the success of this project. So I truly just want to acknowledge her for outstanding work and dedication to this project. So thank you on behalf of the town of Enfield. We have some individuals from Gilbane Building Company. We have Amar Shamaz, Marcus Brennan, Vinnie Lynch, and Nate. There we go. Thank you. Those were the individuals that were part of the design and the construction of this beautiful project. So first, I'd like to introduce one of the speakers, our mayor, Mr. Robert Cressato.
Thank you, Randy. Randy has just acknowledged so many people. I would like to acknowledge Randy for a job well done here. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the Town Council, I'm really thrilled to be here tonight at the long-awaited opening of JFK Middle School. Tonight, I stand here wearing many hats. As your mayor, as a teacher who has taught here, school's athletic director for several years, and as a parent who has watched their kids come through here. The role that I'm most proud of is being a taxpayer who, along with all of you in the audience, have invested in our future. This is a state-of-the-art facility, and the students who have come through here are going to see that Enfield is investing in them, in our education infrastructure. We have more work to do with our elementary schools, and I look forward to working with our colleagues on the Board of Education to create a path forward over the next year or so. I want to thank the building committee, all the members. Once again, Randy Daigle, the committee chair, the architects, the construction managers, the owner representatives, and all the tradespeople that were involved in this huge undertaking. The staff here at JFK who gave their input as to what their wants and needs were for this project. The staff, the administration, Mr. Barrios, thank you for your guidance in this project. The PTO and the families who supported all of these efforts. This is a great night for Enfield, and I hope everyone here tonight has that chance to explore all that was created here tonight. And I thank you very much.
I need to apologize. I forgot to mention one of the most important individuals and companies, JCJ Architecture. We have Bruce Kellogg here this evening. They were the architects. I apologize. We'd like to go on to Superintendent of School, Chris Dryzik, please.
Thanks, Randy. I was kind of hoping to go first because the mayor just stole everything I was planning on saying. But this evening is going to be really a celebration, but it's also an opportunity for us to say thanks to a lot of people who I'm sure I don't want to do what Bob did to me and steal everything they were going to say. So I'll keep my thanks as brief as I can. I am going to be repetitive on one thing. To the building committee, it does not go without notice that you are all volunteers. And I can't express on behalf of the district how much we appreciate the countless hours. You have lives and day jobs. Amy, I know about your day job, and I know what you're doing. So, and Ellen too, I'm sorry. But the countless amount of hours that you volunteer to do this for our kids, but I don't want to single anyone out, but I will. I hope everyone in town recognizes that none of this is possible without Randy Daigle. And I just wanted to, again, I've been fortunate to be in this community for almost 20 years now, and I can say with all confidence that nothing like this happens without Randy. And the fact that he is able to not just offer up and volunteer his time and his expertise and his patience and his resources and his professional life to do this for us, we're extremely grateful, and all of us should be extremely grateful to have Randy as always looking out for the best interests of our kids and our staff. Two groups that may not get thanked tonight that Bob kind of hit on. and he's a little bashful, and he goes after me, and I'm his boss, so I can do this. But I want to take the opportunity to thank everyone here at JFK, in particular Dr. Barrios and his administrative staff was here. I see some teachers in the audience. One of the things when we went through this project in the beginning, just coming off the high school, at the high school, when you're building a school, when kids are in it, parents are a little bit more at ease because your kids are a little older. Mr. Longe and I had a concern when this happened that we're building it with babies in it. We're going to be inundated with phone calls from parents and worrying about being in a construction zone. None of that, I could say this now, even though it's official that we're open now, the number of years this project's been going on, and believe me, parents aren't shy about letting me know how they feel. But in that time now, I'm going to jinx it, I have not gotten one complaint about that was construction related throughout this whole process. That's a testament to all the names that have already been said. I'm looking at a mark as this is the second go around with us. But to the staff members here, led by Dr. Barrios, the administrative team, all of our teachers, our support staff in this building, especially our main office secretaries, when you were moving around and people didn't know where to drop stuff off, you're the first line of defense, so I wanted to make sure I said thank you to them. And most importantly, I want to thank our kids, both our current JFK kids as well as previous kids who went through this building. Going to school every day during a pandemic is hard enough. But then going to school when your building's under construction is even more difficult than we can all imagine. And the resiliency that our kids have shown throughout this process is something that we should all be very grateful and proud of. And I will wrap up with this. This is an amazing facility. It's the nicest middle school I've ever seen, and I'm pretty old. But it's really much more than it is a building. What this building symbolizes for me and for all of you is the commitment that this town has to our kids, and the commitment that this town has to education in this community. So on behalf of the Enfield Public Schools and all the Board of Education, I want to thank everybody for not just those who got your name on the plaque, but especially all those who originally 5 years ago voted for this. And you finally get an opportunity to see where all the fruits of the labor are. So thank you again.
I'd like to ask the Board of Education Chairwoman, Tina LeBlanc, to come up.
Hi, everyone. I'd like to thank everyone for coming tonight to the grand opening for JFK. I'd like to recognize a few board members that are in attendance here tonight. This is a big night. We're all very excited. We have Scott Ryder, Vice Chair, Gina Cree, Josh Hamry, and John Ungeyer in attendance tonight. Thank you all for being here. This isn't part of what I wrote, but as I'm sitting here looking at the crowd, could you raise your hand if you came to school here, or you had kids that came to school here, maybe taught here? That's great to see. I can't wait for you to see the school. It's amazing. But I'm going to start off with my husband, myself, and my 3 kids all came here for middle school. And when I came here, it was called the junior high. You will notice many changes as you tour JFK. Gone are the murals of Charlie Brown and the Pink Panther, the empty space where the payphone hung on the wall, the science room with the labs right out of 1960s. And I'm glad you mentioned when it was built because I was right. Those things have all been replaced with brighter technologically advanced classrooms, enhanced technology rooms, functional science rooms with labs. There is more space for the JFK Band and Chorus, a beautiful auditorium for the amazing drama productions and concerts, a bigger and more accommodating nurse's office, a large space for the guidance department, and I could go on and on. The benefits of being able to renovate JFK has positive effects on all aspects of academics. The renovation also has positive effects on the Enfield community. As a Board of Education, we are seeing student numbers increase in the town of Enfield over the last few years. That means more families are coming to Enfield. There are so many people to thank tonight, and I'll probably sound a little bit redundant. First, I would like to thank the students, staff, and families for their patience during the renovation. I cannot express enough the gratitude I have that not only did you live and teach through a renovation, but also dealt with a pandemic at the same time. I am sure at times it was not easy and downright frustrating. Second, I would like to thank the building committee. If you've never been on a building committee, and I learned this since I've been on a board of ed, it is a huge commitment. The building committee is comprised of community volunteers who dedicate their time to help make important decisions regarding the renovation. I just want to tell you, your tireless work has not gone unnoticed, and I thank you again. Even though the building is open, I know you still have work that has to be done. Lastly, I'd like to thank the community for their support. All those pieces working together enabled this to happen. Thank you.
Town council member Lori.
I couldn't tell which mic is working.
I believe it's this one.
This one? Is this working? Is it not on? Just talk loud. Okay, I can try to talk loud.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Is this on now? Hey! Thank you. Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone, my distinguished guests and parents, students, for this special occasion. We are pleased to welcome those of you who have been with us through this whole JFK journey, and as well as those of you who are new to this community. I've been long involved throughout this middle school journey of JFK from years ago when I served on the Board of Education. We had so many countless conversations. Do we keep the school here? Do we move it to a different location? Or we just renovate here as new? It went on and on and on. And I'm so glad that it's here and all that's happened here. It's just wonderful. Actually, the day that this school opened, and I hate to admit it, but I attended this school the first day it ever opened. So back in 1969, I was in 6th grade, and I attended this school from 6th grade to 9th grade. And I still remember the very first day. I remember walking in, trying to find my classroom, looking for my locker, the shininess of the floor, the smell of fresh paint. It was wonderful. It was really nice. I enjoyed it. I have so many stories that happened to me at JFK, and I don't know if because I spent more time here, but I only picked one that I'm going to share with you. Excuse me. The story is the day I got sent to the principal's office. I was attending a 7th grade assembly, and it was an awards assembly. And I was sitting way back in the left, about 3/4 of the way down to the auditorium. And the auditorium was nice at the time, but nowhere near as grand as this beautiful auditorium is. And I'm sure all of you are comfortable in these amazing seats. And so we would applaud as our friends were called up. They received their awards, and one of my very best friends' name was called. And she went up, and we all applauded. And then I whistled. Now, anybody here want to hear how I whistled? I think I could still do it. Ready? And then I'm still applauding. Next thing you know, a teacher comes flying down the aisle. You! And I'm clapping for my friend. And then all of a sudden I hear a little bit louder and a little more stern. You! And I look, and it looks like he's looking at me. And I look around, and I'm like, who is this guy yelling at? And me? Yes, you, out. I got up, climbed over my friends, got to the aisle. He said, no whistling allowed. Go to the principal's office. I was like, oh, jeez. So I made my way down there. I talked to the secretary for about 10 minutes, and she was so nice, and she kindly sent me back to the auditorium. So I'm thinking maybe they were stricter back then. I don't know what the rules are now about behavior and those kind of things, but it was something else. On another note, anybody that knows me knows I love monarch butterflies. And I think of the whole process of a butterfly. You have these caterpillars that crawl around, and then you have this chrysalis. And then you have this beautiful creature that unfolds and floats away, and it's just beautiful. And I was always interested in that whole process. And when I think of the chrysalis stage, it's a green pod that's hanging from a milkweed leaf. And it doesn't look like anything's going on. It's just this green thing hanging there. And when you think about it, there's so much going on inside. You just can't see it. And I think about our students in our school system. I think about the elementary kids as crawling around and eating and crawling and eating. And then I think of this middle school area is the kids in the chrysalis. And sometimes with junior high kids, it looks like nothing's going on, or they don't respond to you, or there's not much conversation, and they'd rather sleep and take out the trash, or they forgot their homework, and there's just so many things that they're doing and not doing, but when they're in that chrysalis stage, there's a whole lot going on, even though you can't see it. They're forming their desires, their friendships, their goals of where they want to go, and they're being exposed to so many different things. And I think about this school and what it's going to offer them. It's just amazing. And then they head on towards high school, and they blossom, and they fly away and find their own way, hopefully. So a lot of times you can't really see what's happening inside of that chrysalis, but that's what I think of middle school kids. And to the teachers that are here, all our teachers in Enfield are just wonderful, and not just because my son teaches here either, but they're just wonderful. They're enthusiastic, they're kind, all their efforts, the extra time that they put in, and they're the ones that inspire all these students to learn and grow, and I just think they're amazing. In my lifetime here in Enfield, I've seen us go from, I remember being excited. I had a little transistor radio with a little antenna that I could pull up and listen to the music that I loved. And now these kids have iPods and computers and their cell phones, and just how far that we've come. And I look at all that this school has to offer them, and they have the world at their fingertips, everything they need. They don't have to be in a card catalog, looking at the card catalog in the library, waiting because someone has the tray that you need, and trying to dig through. They just go on the computer, and everybody can find what they need, like right away. And I just think that's amazing. I think of having the Wi-Fi here, the air conditioning. It's just beautiful. My heartfelt thanks go to the building committee, the architects, and all those who have spent countless hours to make this happen. Thank you to the administration and the town people who voted to make this happen, and I will whistle later for all of you. My prayer is that everyone here will thrive in this new environment, and from the kitchen staff, the custodians, the teachers, the students, the bus drivers, everyone. So next time you see a monarch butterfly, think of our, oh, went off. It's just bleeped off. Does that mean my time's up? It just went off. This is my last sentence. So next time you see a monarch butterfly, think of our great kids and that they're all on their way to becoming something really great. Thank you very much. I just want to thank Randy's beautiful wife, Stacy, because without her, he couldn't do all he does.
All right, thank you very much. Board of Education members, Scott Ryder, please.
So many people have already been thanked, and I echo all the sentiments that have been shared so far. I also wanted to speak a little bit about some things that people have already said this evening. So when Randy mentioned the nonpartisan or bipartisan aspect of a project like this, we don't always get along or see eye to eye on a lot of projects. But former Chairman Krizel is here, and former Chairman Neville is here, former Principal Neville is here, and those are two folks that I've worked with on the Board of Ed the last 6 years. And I wanted to thank you both for being here, as well as our current chairwoman, Ms. LeBlanc. And we do see eye to eye when it comes to our kids' education. Maybe different path on getting certain places, but not on a project like this. And this is not the beginning, middle, or end of that journey, as we have more things that we need to address here in town. And I was asked to actually help with the PAC. So we had a political action campaign, is what that refers to. And I was asked to help run the marketing for the second PAC, the PAC that actually passed, that we were able to market, if you will, the needs of this to our public and to the town folks here in Enfield. And I'm a taxpayer here as well. I didn't grow up here, but my kids are growing up here, and that's why this is important to me. And that's actually who I'm here to thank, in addition to the staff and the building committee, is the kids. So if there are any students here tonight that are in 11th through 7th grade currently, please stand up. And if you're watching this at home on MTV, or on MTV, or on ETV, I want to acknowledge you as well, because the kids that were here that are currently juniors were here when we broke ground on this facility. The kids that are sophomores at our high school were here during construction. The kids that are currently in 7th and 8th grade at JFK, and I see one of our friends here now, you guys were here through the construction without complaint. And to my heart, the kids that are in 9th grade, currently at our high school, like my daughter, who spent all 3 of their middle school years in a building under construction, even ignoring COVID and the complications that came with that, but just being here learning in a building where you didn't know which wing you were going to be next semester, and you got shuffled around a bit. To those 9th graders, I want to say thank you. You kids were so resilient through so much, including the construction of this facility. And we weren't here, my kids weren't old enough to be here through the consolidation of the high school, and to the kids that went through that, and I thank you guys for that, if any of you are here or watching. But to those 9th graders, I just want to say thank you. So that's why I wanted to come here tonight. Thank you to all of our kids, and let's keep it going.
Yeah, I think it needs to be charged or something. I don't know. All right. Well, I was never told they couldn't hear me, so I don't even need the microphone. All right. Thank you very much. I'd like to introduce the principal of JFK Middle School, Dr. Andrew Burris.
Let's see what's going on here. This is part of the job. There we go. Okay. Looks like a low battery. Perfect. First and foremost, I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. I also want to thank our musicians that were here tonight, the parents and guardians that drove them out and took them home. A special thank you to Mr. Winham and Ms. Jakes. We really appreciate that. Tonight you'll see also some of our STEAM students working in the labs tonight that are actively involved in electronics projects and things like that. Before I get into it, just because I'm sitting there thinking as well, education, how it's changed, where it is now, we have to do lockdown drills in schools now. We have to cover, not on these doors, but the small windows, the door windows, a couple inches wide. I'm thinking, we look at prices, and now, right now we put construction paper over it, or they drop a little piece of fabric, and that works. But recently I went to one of our STEAM labs, brought it up to the educator, and the students are completely immersed in the research and design process, and they're going to engineer little sliders that go on the bottom of the window, and we can just put a piece of thick cardboard and it just slides over. Just something little like that, that's where education is now. It's not just sitting, in a textbook and we're just grinding it out. They're in a different place and a different level in the way that they're approaching education and the way that we're providing it here. So you'll see some of that stuff tonight, but just to kind of put things in perspective, I am going to try to be as quick as possible, but this project has been a large part of my life for the last 5 years, and I'd love to rush through, and I'm going to go as fast as possible. There are people that helped me survive this and make it happen. So without further ado, I'm going to get right into it. Back in 2018, hired by Superintendent Drezig and the Board of Ed, obviously, he said, this is going to be a difficult undertaking. And then the pandemic happened. At that time, Marilyn Prasadi was here as the VP, and she handed me this. It was in a little gift bag with some other things, and just like a little squeeze stress thing. So I thought that was fitting as we move forward. Nothing could have prepared us for the pandemic. Nothing could have prepared the construction firms for the supply and demand issues that they were faced with. We endured, adjusted, and persevered. I'm just going to get into thanking the people that really, really made it happen. The Enfield voters and taxpayers, our Enfield school community, our local governing bodies, the Board of Education, the building committee members, thank you very much for your vision and leadership. Thank you, Randy Daigle. Central office leadership, there we go. I'm going to go middle school voice.
Superintendent Drezik, Deputy Superintendent Longy, thank you. I cannot say enough. Our curriculum coordinators, the other central office leadership, the construction entities, CSG, Chris Cycli, Samantha D'Agostino, thank you. You have no idea, thank you. Gilbane, Vinny, Patrick Lynch, I don't think he's here tonight. Cannot thank him enough. Marcus, Nathan, the Enfield, the Building and Grounds Department, Mark Garr, thank you. Richie Prasuti, I'm going to ask you to stand up, and I'm sorry. He's all the way in the back. Richie's our head custodian here. He replaced Billy Higgins, who retired a few years ago. Enfield, committed and beyond. You helped me through, Richie. You have no idea. 911 situations. All the JFK staff and educators, their leadership was evident and helped me to facilitate the path, packing, relocating, teaching in temporary classrooms, turning a cafeteria into a teaching space, a library into a teaching space, makeshift offices where administrative assistants set up shop like right next to each other. The PE department conducting PE courses out in the blacktop out there, out by the road, the grass area with a fence for safety, obviously. Just kind of moving it around as we went through. Our librarians for packing, unpacking libraries. Our nurses, and during the pandemic, our nurses, that was wild. Cafeteria, Sue Delcos and her team, Duclos, excuse me, and her team. All the lunches that occurred, the grab bags, all that stuff. Our SROs, the alarms that were going off, new security protocols, this door needs to be, we need to switch this up, that plan, all the crisis plans that changed every single year or every few months. Smith Bus Company, hey, you're parking over here and picking up kids. Actually, you're going to go over there. Actually, line up in rows over here. Jesse McCruel, all the bus drivers. Very close and near and dear to me is my admin team. I can't tell you, I wouldn't have made it. I wouldn't have made it. Mr. I, Dr. Baylog, Ms. Brown, I wouldn't have made it. Thank you. Our students, especially our supported students who didn't really understand the loud noises, didn't really understand all the movement and things that were going on. And I think the students, we're always learning from them. We're always, they're always teaching us and revitalizing us. They taught me resilience. It was right there on display every single day. So I want to thank the Enfield students for that. And last and not least, our parents and guardians, switching drop-off loops. We're dropping off over there, we're picking up over here. Closures, quarantine, changing main offices. Ha, we didn't take down the sign. The main office is actually over there. And again, last, I just want to thank Central Office, the Board of Education, and this school community for providing me the opportunity to be such part of such a meaningful experience. Thank you so much.
All right. Last but not least, our state senator, Mr. John Kissel.
Thank you for inviting me here. Enfield, you're going to have to find another renovation project for Mr. Daigle because he is a force of nature. Everyone's been thanked, and it would be remiss of me to attempt to read it all over again. All I'll say is I agree with Lori's analogy regarding the butterfly, but I almost look at this as a seed. The infrastructure, the facility, the space. Teaching is not a job. That was my first love. My first degree was in education, and I actually student taught at Coventry High School, so focus on secondary. So a middle school or a junior high school, this is just fabulous. And I'm happy to represent you in our state capitol and our Senate. And the state of Connecticut is not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but we do try to be an important and good partner with our communities. And I would say that the state's contribution to this really went a long way. I know that you want to get on the tour, and I'm last, so I'll leave you with this. I think it was Socrates that said, "Isn't this awesome?" Thank you.
right, for now, for the real reason we all came here tonight, we're going to be doing a tour, a guided tour around the building to some areas. If you, on your way out, can you please grab the map that'll show you the areas? Each of the classroom wings are the same, so we're going to just go through one of them, but we can go through the entire building, the black wing, around the hub, the media center, the robotics and all that. So again, on behalf of the building committee members and everybody involved in this, personally like to thank everybody for attending this evening. This is the 21st century state-of-the-art facility, and we're so proud to have it in the town of Enfield, and it attracts children. When we did the high school and brought that up to the modern age, over 30% of the kids that went to trade, or not trade, went to other schools came back into town because now we have a facility that's worth staying here for. So again, thank you for the state of Connecticut for reaching out and allowing us to do this. The town of Enfield, the facilities, to be able to come up with the 71% reimbursement, which was kind of unheard of. Most of the towns around 12 to 30. And again, the building committee, I can't thank you enough for dedicating your volunteering your time for the last 5 years. People don't realize that this is a volunteer committee, and each of you played an important role to make this success. So I hope you enjoy it, and to start the guided tour on behalf of everybody, thank you so much.
They do have to find something else for you. You are a force of nature.
Thank you, sir.
And if I can ever be of service on